Now you gave the supporting cast guys like Brunson and Dinwiddie a chance to have to live on their own, start to develop on their own as well. This Dallas team is actually a very impressive defensive team with the way they handled Utah as well.
Guys, I have the Suns in 5 because I'm so confident in them to handle the Mavericks.
See, you're looking at the Suns like they're not world beaters. They're not.
They are.
They're not. They're not. If they were world beaters, they would have handled the Pelicans like they should have in 4 or 5.
I think Devin Booker means that much to this team.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. It shouldn't come down to that. It shouldn't come down to that.
Right.
Because
I got them in 5.
You know what? Because we saw what happened in the finals last year when Devin Booker couldn't score. And Devin Booker is going to have his off nights. He's human. It happens.
He does have some off nights.
And we saw what happened. Milwaukee ran away with that series in the finals.
I just think that the Bucks are a lot better defensively than the Mavericks. The Mavericks, I ain't got no faith in at all.
Wow. That's surprising. In the end, I'm just going to say this. Luka Doncic, 29 points per game. Jalen Brunson, 27 points per game. Spencer Dinwiddie, 15. It's a trio that's starting to develop. They're starting to make a name for themselves.
And they're going to get locked up.
Watch out. Just watch out. Just watch out.
Mikal Bridges is
watch
going
out.
to have
That could be a series. That could be a series. That could be a series. I'm just saying. But we'll have to wait and see. Tomorrow is the first start. We start off with arguably probably the 2 best series in this second round. We're going to start off with the Milwaukee and Celtics, right? Probably, if you're seeing this video, it's going to be right during this video, or right after this video. And then Warriors-Memphis later on Sunday night. It's going to be good.
It's going to be some interesting series right there.
It's going to be good. Now, the NFL Draft, baby. NFL Draft.
And it started out pretty crazy. Day 1 was a little...
Wow, there were some moves. So, we're not going to obviously go over every single move, but we're going to go over who we believe are the winners and the losers of this NFL Draft, at least through the first few rounds. Of course, truthfully, respectfully, the drafts are won in those later rounds. That's where you find your stars, your diamonds in the roughs. But
there are some teams that they make some questionable picks.
Yes. So you want to start with the losers?
Let's start with the losers.
Okay.
But before I start with the losers, I just got to say one winner that's not really a winner, that's kind of a winner. San Francisco 49ers are a winner.
Funny enough, I had that too. I just said honorable mention because they obviously don't deserve a place in the list. Truthfully, I mean, like draft-wise, it's okay so far with our draft picks. I like but I'm dragging on right now.
The Niners did not give up Deebo Samuel. There was offers on the table.
No.
The Jets offered, I think, number 10 and a pick swap.
Mm-hmm.
I think another team offered as well. The Niners declined.
Yeah.
And there's a little thing, I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but Deebo put out a shirt called Deebo is back or something.
It was like put back out on his webpage or something. And there was also a moment where in the NFL draft, there was like a group of Niner fans that Deebo went on the mic and everything. He's like, I love y'all, faithful forever, that type of thing. He was saying that, which, again, that makes me believe that my initial thoughts on this whole controversy was correct, that it was Deebo playing hardball, making sure that he gets the money he deserves.
No, it doesn't 100% mean he's not
No, it doesn't.
traded.
So it's just, that's why I say I think it means what I...
Most likely, Deebo's going to get traded for a first-round pick. Now, these first-round picks do not have as high value because they're next year.
Well, truthfully, if the Niners didn't trade for him, I also believe that means that the Niners know what's going on. That it isn't so much of the fact that Deebo is... No, I want cut out completely.
Yeah.
Because if the Niners, if Deebo made that clear to them, then it would have been...
They would have done it quickly.
They would have had to taken that 10th round pick. They would have had to have taken that. Because you can't sit there and wait for,
Yeah, no, you can't waste a year or anything. So
yeah.
But that's a dub.
That's a dub. But let's go back to the losers. An honorable mention for the losers, and it's because it's not like they really lost, but I think they did make a bad choice, was the Jaguars. They went with Trayvon Walker in that first overall pick.
Yeah,
I liked Aiden Hutchinson a little more. If you wanted, there's 2 DNs available. I still think Aiden Hutchinson was the better DN to go with. Now, that being said, Trayvon Walker is not a bad pick either. It's not like there was a true number one guy this draft. Where there wasn't a Trevor Lawrence.
There's no quarterback.
There wasn't a Trevor Lawrence. There wasn't a Myles Garrett. There wasn't like this all of a sudden like this prolific defensive guy that's like you have to take number one no matter what. That's what the Browns did so many years ago. It's like no matter how much they needed a quarterback, they had to take Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett was Myles Garrett.
And he's turned out to be.
And he's turned out to be like that. There wasn't that guy in the draft. I just think they could have gone with the better option, but it's not like a loss either.
It's not.
I just had to mention that.
Now I have two of my losers are the two trades that we had, and both of these trades I feel like were just terrible. They were completely lopsided.
That's actually so funny that I think we have the same guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's completely lopsided because Marquise Brown for a first-round pick.
That's the thing.
No. So the Cardinals, you just lost a first-round pick for Marquise Brown, who's not even. I mean, okay, he was a first-round pick. How only 2 years ago? But Marquise Brown to me is not worth a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He's like a second or a third, and then you lose the chance to get somebody else in the draft. I didn't like that. Then the Titans, you basically said, I would rather have Traylon Burks than pay AJ Brown.
And apparently the offer that they gave AJ Brown was $16 million. When, just so you know, and this is why I still hate the Jags because they screwed up the market big time. Christian Kirk's getting paid $18 million a year.
So I would feel disrespected.
I would feel completely disrespected because, respectfully, there are at least 25 receivers I believe that are better than Christian Kirk.
Maybe even 30.
Maybe even 30. Christian Kirk is not that good. And he's getting paid that much. So now every receiver has to be paid over $20 million.
Yeah, like you can't pay me.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, no. So
it's disrespectful.
The Titans sent him over to the Eagles. And now they paid him, I think, $25 million. 4 years, $100 million. And then the Cardinals got Marquise Brown.
Okay. First of all, Cardinals got a second weapon, so it's like it's good. It's just what you gave up for him was not worth it.
He's not a first round pick.
You could have fought for maybe a second, like multiple late round picks for Marquise Brown. He's only had 1,000-yard season. He's not a guy who's worth the first round pick so far in his career. Also, I have to say, I think the Ravens lost that too a little bit because they got a center, so they're shoring up the O-line. But now, who do you really have at receiver right now? They must be banking on the fact that they get like OBJ or Jarvis Landry in free agency. Because they have Rashad Bateman, they lost Sammy Watkins, and now they lost Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
so
they looking a little sus.
They don't have offensive weapons right now.
Mm-mm.
And even though you got a first-round pick for Hollywood Brown, you lost a receiver, and you're kind of short on those anyways.
Yeah.
And you didn't draft one.
No.
So that, I feel like both sides didn't really win that trade.
Oh, also, the Titans also are a loser because they drafted Malik Willis. This is the reason why I say that. Ryan Tannehill still has another season. I didn't want Malik Willis to be a backup.
Funny enough, I'm going to have to completely 100% disagree with you.
You think he should be a backup first?
Malik Willis is a guy that people know that he's not completely pro ready yet.
He's not pro ready, but I think on like the Lions or a team like the Steelers, he has a chance to have a trash season and then
respectfully, this is the perfect situation for Malik Willis. He couldn't have asked for a better situation. He gets to sit behind Tannehill for a year with an offense that, while they gave up a lot, here's the thing, and I gotta go again. Now I'm getting off track a little bit, but I just have to say this. I don't know why they don't pay AJ Brown because now they're trusting that Traylon Burks turns into what AJ Brown was, and you're taking a risk because any draft player, it doesn't matter how high or how low, is always going to be a what if, because they can always be a bust. There's always that potential, and even then, Traylon Burks is probably not going to come out in his first year and do what AJ Brown did. You know what I mean? But either way, I'm getting sidetracked. So that's why I have the Titans still here as a loser. But I really like this move because you get to sit him behind Ryan Tannehill for one more season of his contract. You get to let Malik Willis, and then when Malik Willis comes in, he's got Derrick Henry to rely on.
He doesn't really have to pass the ball.
He doesn't have to be that guy who has to throw every now and then like he is if he was on the Lions or any other team. I
I just don't think that Ryan Tannehill is that bad to the point where you have to get rid of him yet.
I mean,
I think you could stick with him a little longer.
no, dude. I think it's a perfect time where Tannehill's good. He's very good.
He's a slightly above average.
Truthfully, we all see the one downside of Malik Willis was the fact that he just wasn't pro ready, but he has the attributes to be a top 10 quarterback. Tannehill doesn't. Respectfully. Tannehill's actually been a very solid quarterback for the Titans, but he doesn't have that upside like Malik Willis does. This gives the Titans a chance. Obviously, you get that one more year with Tannehill. Remember, the Titans still have Robert Woods at receiver, too. They still have some guys. Maybe they could try to see if they could get someone else more in free agency. But either way, you give him, Malik Willis, a chance to sit behind Tannehill, learn the offense, learn the speed of the game. Then he comes in that second year when he's a little more ready. He has Derrick Henry as help. Treylon Burks has a year under his belt as well.
Hoping Derrick Henry can stay healthy.
Stay healthy, of course. This is a very good situation. It was a very good move, and it saved the Titans from being my number one loser.
The only thing I don't disagree in the fact where I kind of get what you're saying with Malik Willis being a backup first because he's not pro ready. I just question the Ryan Tannehill situation. That's the part where I'm like, I feel like Ryan Tannehill might be your best option right now.
I get you. Well, then that's a good thing. You can let Malik Willis sit. Remember, you have nothing to lose because you got lucky that Malik Willis fell to the third round.
Yeah,
so it's not like
it's not really that big of a pick.
Again, I think people are realizing how much of a steal this really is. The Titans didn't go in that first round and get Malik Willis, and then it would have been like a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers situation where it's like, and even then it's not as extreme because Tannehill's not a top 3 quarterback of all time like Aaron Rodgers is. So it's not that argument of like, oh well, Rodgers still has more time. Like, what are they doing? He's only he's gonna sit behind that for 2 to 3 years. Malik Willis was a 3rd round pick. You have nothing to lose, truthfully.
And you don't even gotta pay him that much because he's a 3rd round.
Because he's a 3rd round pick, and then if he hits, then you just got to steal the draft.
Hey.
And because you give him a chance to sit behind a seat. But that was a good move by the Titans. My number one loser is the Patriots because they're getting guys.
I don't know who they got. Who the hell is that?
Well, just Cole Strange, the guard that they got, was a guy who was projected to go in the 3rd round, and they got him in the 1st round.
Looking like the Raiders.
And then in the 2nd round, they went with the guy who was expected to go like 4th or 5th round. They got him. So, okay. Yes, if these decisions work out, good. But it's the same situation as the Raiders many years ago, where he's gonna be available later. Then
you could have just got somebody better.
Get a 1st round talent
and hope that he works out. Maybe you don't have that on your draft board, but just get some.
You could have got Cole Strange in that 2nd round, and then that wouldn't have looked like such a bad move. Because it's like, okay, cool, you got your guard in the 2nd. You could have got someone in that.
They could have got a receiver. They don't really have.
Yeah, they got like a speedster receiver, but the real receiver.
They got Tyquan Thornton.
It's cool. You could have got Christian Watson though.
Yeah.
That's who the Packers got. Good pickup.
That's a great pick right there.
2nd round, early 2nd round. That's pretty much. He could have arguably been a 1st round pick the way he was looking too. Good pickup. See, the Patriots could have been that guy to get Christian Watson. Mm-hmm. They would have got that good receiver who's a little more, who has a little more upside, more reassurance. Yeah. And then you could have got Patriots. It's just because their moves are so questionable.
That's just very obvious. Like, what are y'all doing?
You got to think that through.
Yeah, no.
You got to think that through.
My very last loser, I got the Texans because they did get a lot of talent. Like they got John Mechie, they got Derek Stingley, who questionably is projected to be the highest amount of bust. He has a lot of talent. But he's had some questionable seasons. So
yeah, I think they got the wrong cornerback in that situation.
Yeah, they could have had Sauce Gardner, and they chose Derek Stingley. Yeah. So the Texans, you got to get fault on that. And they did not get a quarterback. Yep. They didn't get Baker Mayfield in that trade. And you had so many picks. You could have whatever quarterback you wanted. Mm-hmm. Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Matt Corral, anybody you wanted. And they got 0. They didn't choose 1. Yep. So that's what makes me a little sus about their little situation.
I respect that. It just shows that the Texans are truly going with what they said. They're going in on Davis Mills. They believe that they have a guy there. No. And all right, I'm gonna see. Let's see where that confidence gets them next year. Now for the winners, I have a tie at number 3 because I just had to mention both of these teams. The Giants made some great pickups on both sides of the lines.
I have Giants.
I mean, Kavion and Evan Neal for DN and offensive tackle.
Kayvon Thibodeau, the only reason that he's not the number 1 pick is because they don't like his personality.
Yeah.
They say that he's too cocky.
You need that from a defensive player. I like that if I have that.
You telling me right now you didn't pick him because you don't like his attitude?
That's whatever, bro. And then they got Pauly, what I could believe could.
Yeah, he's the best lineman.
I think he's the best O-lineman in the draft, Evan Neal. And they need that.
Yeah.
The Giants need an O-line. If they want to keep Saquon Barkley somewhat healthy, they want to give Daniel Jones a shot to prove himself. They needed that.
They got some dogs.
That's what you win. You get it to a championship by your line. You know, teams like the Niners and many of the teams show how important a line is on both ends.
Yeah.
And they did perfect on both of those.
They do have some weapons on offense already.
Mm-hmm.
They have Saquon Barkley. They got some solid wide receivers around them. Daniel Jones is definitely very sus.
Mm-hmm.
But getting the O-line, getting the defense a little better. They already have a good secondary.
Yeah. So
getting a great defensive end, and I think Kayvon Thibodeau is the most pro-ready out of all the defensive ends.
Yep.
They're gonna be pretty solid.
Exactly. It shows that this could be an interesting year, especially because I think they got a very good head coach. Remember how high it was on the Giants last year? I'm switching it to this year. That last year don't count, but this year it's different because they don't have Joe Judge. They have a good coach.
Different this year.
They've been doing very well in the draft. Let's see if they maybe have a shot here. Other winner, the Lions, because I think they got probably.
I had the Lions on there too.
Because I think, first of all, they probably feel so lucky that they got Aiden Hutchinson.
They got him number 2. He was supposed to go number 1.
Truthfully, when I was seeing the draft, it was funny because they got Trayvon Walker for the Jaguars. Immediately, the Lions pick was in. They knew immediately. They're like, oh, we're going to take this guy.
Thank you.
We're going to take this guy. So they probably got the best DN in the draft. And also, they got Jameson Williams, of course, coming off a torn ACL.
But he would be the best wide receiver if he wasn't injured.
Exactly. And they got lucky because of that low key, because he probably would have been taken earlier if it wasn't for that. But they got now. Now, here's the thing. I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, my God, they could have gone with a quarterback or something like that. Now, they have a good running back.
Yeah,
they have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've shown some key guys there. And again, I'm going to say this about Jared Goff. He's not trash.
Yes, he is.
He's not trash. Jared Goff is, when he has a good O-line, a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's wait, you said top 50?
15.
1-5.
Jared, I feel like he was getting a lot of hate last year for how, but you got to remember Jared Goff was on the Lions, first of all. No one's there. Stop. Okay, stop it. But what I'm going to say is this. If Jared Goff truly works out, like how probably they're banking on right now, yeah, fingers crossed, right? They got the guys that can help him.
He does have some weapons around him.
Now he has the weapon. Jameson Williams, who knows when he comes back in the season. I don't expect him to be there game 1, but probably a little later into mid to...
His player comp is Odell Beckham. That's his player comp. And, yeah, I've never been a fan of, he got injured, I'm not going to draft him. No, I don't care. Most people, nowadays... I'm
so glad the Lions didn't fall for that.
Nowadays, people get back from injuries way quicker than they should.
Oh, way quicker.
Odell has 2 torn ACLs. And I promise you, he will still play above average next season.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, you're 100% correct. And Jameson Williams is young, too.
Yeah.
You know? You just got to get the best player available, and truthfully, he is. So I got to give the Lions credit there. Number 2 for me is the Eagles. Obviously, we know why.
Yeah, I have the Eagles on there, too. Jordan Davis and A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown. So here's the thing. You got a great defensive lineman prospect to pair with Fletcher Cox.
He's an athletic freak.
Exactly. To shore up that defense. And now, here's the difference between A.J. Brown versus any other receiver you could have drafted. You know he's good. You know he's all-pro talent.
He does have injury problems.
Yes.
But he's all pro talent.
You know he's all pro talent. You know that.
And you partner him up with a quarterback that I think is better. Jalen Hurts has the potential to be a lot better than Ryan Tannehill.
Big upside for Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Hurts now also has a weapon.
Yep.
He had Devontae Smith last year, but that was all he had.
Because he didn't have Rager?
No.
No.
So now you got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and they're going to complement each other. They're two completely different receivers. Mm-hmm. One's like a jump ball, the other one's a route runner.
Yep.
I think it's going to be looking good for the Eagles next season.
Here's the crazy thing I want to mention, too. The Eagles now have spent the last 3 first-round picks on receivers. Jalen Rager, which was, okay, we know what that one's already. But Devontae Smith, who obviously I think he'll be a 1,000-yard receiver next year. And
he worked out.
A.J. Brown.
Devontae Smith has worked out already.
Yeah. And now the truth is, too, Jalen Hurts has no excuses now. This is it.
If he's trash, you're going to see.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
He has a good old line.
We're going to see now. But that was a great move. Number 1, I think, is probably the most obvious. I hope it's the most obvious.
Nah, I don't have them. I know who yours is. Just go ahead and say it.
It's so easily the Jets.
No.
They're not even in your top 3?
No.
Yeah, you know, you're crazy. I'm sorry. You're crazy. The Jets are probably one of the best draft winners in recent history with the way they've been doing it. I mean, first of all, they got the best cornerback in the draft.
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner, I think, is a corner who's good enough to be top 15 the second he gets in there. Not only that, but you got, besides, if Jameson Williams wasn't hurt, obviously he would be the best receiver in this draft. But you got now that Jameson Williams was hurt, you got the best receiver in this draft. Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm. You got Garrison, and I think it worked better for the Jets than getting Debo because you would have gave a lot for Debo. Guaranteed, I mean, granted, you know Debo's a guarantee all-pro talent, but you would have had to pay him too. So now they save money. They get Garrett Wilson, Amon Gardner. Then they get Jermaine Johnson.
He was supposed to be a first-round pick.
D-end later in the round. So they get 3 first-round picks. Then they go into the second round, and they get Breece Hall, the first running back off the board.
That's an amazing draft right there.
I'm just saying. I don't see how they're not even in your top. I'm just saying the Jets have quite literally, unlike most teams, have hit on 4 of their first picks. 3 in the first round, 1 in the second. They have hit. Every single one is a hit. Every single one is a, oh. And now you got to understand, they got Robert Saleh as a head coach, a very good head coach. Zach Wilson now, he finished the season much better than how he started. And now he has a receiver to go along with Corey Davis.
I think the Jets, honestly, they made some big moves in this draft without even doing a trade. And I think the big thing about the Jets, the only thing that's they're really young. Like, almost, these are all their best players on the team, honestly.
Yeah.
Everybody they drafted is the best player on the team. And that's the only thing that makes me they did great in this draft. But it does make the team a lot better.
I just love it. I mean, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson is your first two. That's incredible.
It's going to help them a lot. Do I really trust Zach Wilson? Do they have help on the O-line? Not really. So that's the only part that I'm really sus about. The Ravens are my last winner. They're not the number 1. My number 1 would be the Giants. I just wrote the Ravens first.
Okay.
But the Ravens, I don't think that Marquise Brown was a bad move for them. Because Marquise Brown did not really pan out for the Ravens. And the reason why I'm okay with that is the Ravens run the ball the most out of every team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So all they need to do, maybe they get a little last receiver in free agency, Odell, Jarvis Landry.
So you're banking on that?
I'm banking on the fact that they go out and get one of these last.
You think they have a plan of receiver then?
Yeah, they have a plan because there's no reason they would get rid of him.
Okay.
Kyle Hamilton, the best. He arguably is the best DB in the draft. He's very close up there with Sauce Gardner. Mm-hmm. And they helped out their already pretty good secondary.
When healthy. Number 2, the Ravens were injured last year. Huge on the defensive end and then on the offensive end with the O-line.
And then on top of that, Tyler Linderbaum is considered one of the best center draft prospects of all time. He's that good of a center. And the O-line is what you need the most when you run into football.
Mm-hmm.
So I just trust the Ravens that they're not going to be stupid.
That they have a plan.
They have a plan.
Okay.
So that's why I put them as the winner.
You know
and
what? You convinced me a little bit. That was good.
Marquise Brown requested a trade. It's not like they just got rid of him for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a first-round pick out of it.
And they use that for a center prospect that could be very good. I respect that. That's actually very good points. Again, it all banks on the fact that they hopefully have a plan or receiver because they need one more weapon. Hopefully, expecting Rashad Bateman to kind of turn into a bit of a star here too. But that being said, you know that you're a little right there. Actually, you're kind of right. You're kind of right. I respect that because here's the thing now. Now their secondary is looking like
they're pretty scary.
And then you already have Marcus Peters coming back. And
Marlon Humphrey is the top 5.
Exactly. So, great points. Great points there. But
I also think they got David Ojabo as well.
Yeah.
They got David Ojabo, who is kind of similar to Jameson Williams. He was injured, and he was going to be a first-round draft pick. They got him in the 2nd round, and he's
outside linebacker.
He's a top 5 edge.
It's a piece that they need on the defensive end there. Again, this Ravens team is really focusing on the defense in this draft. I mean, they got D tackle in the 3rd round as well. They're really going all in on the fact that we're going to create a killer defense.
Yeah.
Like how they did way back when they won the Super Bowl.
This was a really good draft. It wasn't amazing, but the trades that we had made me a little excited. They made me get up a little bit out of my seat. A.J. Brown to the Eagles, obviously Marquise Brown to the Cardinals.
Huge, big moves.
Big moves. And I think that almost completely wraps up the offseason.
Yeah, there's still remember Tyrann Mathieu still out there. There's still some key free agents available now. Now, obviously, the Ravens are out the window for Tyrann Mathieu because they got their safety now.
Yeah.
And for a much cheaper price. But, who knows which team might be still looking for a
Raiders
safety.
didn't draft a safety.
Niners didn't either. Who knows on that one. There's still so many receiver prospects available as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. But I think it was a very good draft. But in the end, we'll never know who the true winners and the losers are until this regular season starts.
Yeah, because a lot of these players can turn out to be busts.
And again, you might even have to give it a year or two because who knows how they really progress over the years.
You never know. The Raiders and the Niners did not pick in this 1st round. They didn't pick in day 1.
No, again, Niners won because they didn't get rid of Debo, and obviously it seems like they have enough trust that they can get something done with Debo.
Man.
But we'll see. That does it for today's episode.
We'll see you guys next time. But before we see you next time, make sure you like the video, man. How'd you feel about the draft?
Yeah.
What player did your team get?
How do you feel?
Yeah, just let me know just for the one time. Just let me know. Share it. Make sure you just comment what I just said. And we'll see you guys next time.
Deucios. Nah, Travis, you're crazy, man. You don't have the jet.